Hi, why you should have financial goals in your life and why you should invest in a company which is having goals in their company because both are much more interrelated because if you have financial goals you will find companies which is having financial goals. I'm saying with regards to stock market. So this is the product we are discussing for the last couple of weeks or couple of days. Hi, hello, this is Ganesh and your millionaire coach and author of the book Money Leaks. And why you should have financial goals? My guru always says that whenever you move forward in life, you should have a goal. Either it can be personal, financial, or career, or whatever. So I talk about finance, and that's why I say why you should have financial goals. So just for getting into a car, this is the most used example by my guru Murli Sundaram. He always says that when you want to get into a car, when you open a Ola or Uber, the first thing what it asks is where you want to go, and the next step is where you are. So once you identify from where you are and from where you want to go, that's what financial goal is also about. So if you don't have anything to start, you just start here and you will move on to that place. So it is with respect to traveling in a car or traveling in a place or in a year's time how much money you want to earn either in a career. But when it comes to financial goal, it can be long term, it can be short term, it can be anything. So within a 2 years how much money you want to accumulate and how much emergency amount you want in your corpus, and also about how much you need to accumulate for your kids education. He wants to study in a foreign university and you may be planning in a Indian IIT or IIM or whatever. So the price difference between here to the foreign university will be huge, 3 to 4 times. So how are you planning for that? And for your retirement, how are you planning? So all these are certain things only when you know where you want, how much you want, then only it can be done. So for example, you may not know how much you need after 20 years, after 30 years. Considering you're 30, in the next 25, 30 years, you may want to retire, or even in the next 20 years, by 50, you want to retire. But thing is, are you having enough money? And from 50, you may live till 90 or 100 because your father had lived till 70 or 80 and had 5 or 10 years more because the time your father died or the time he is living now, you can live much more because of the advancement in the medical science. And if you have money you can live longer, and if you have money you can live a healthy lifestyle. So all these are possible with respect to retirement life I'm speaking. So by 50, if you want to retire, you have another 30 to 40 years. Are you having money for that? If you have money for that, you can start, you can retire immediately by 15 next 20 years, or else you need to postpone your retirement. There are people who are saying that I want to retire by 40, 45 within a span of next 10, 15 years. It's quite impossible, right? So if you're having a short span, either you should be earning a lot, or you should have invested a lot, or you should have got a father-in-law or your father who are very, very, very rich and wealthy, so that you want to start a new business. And by 45 or 50, if you want to start something, and then if you want to start a new business or venture into entrepreneurship, that is like taking a huge risk after 45, 50 without unknowingly, without knowing anything, without having any backup plan. So all these are things which can be planned if you have a financial goal by if you're planning it by 30, by the age of 30. If you're not having any financial goal till now, it's right time to do, because the biggest crisis no one has ever seen in the last 40, 50 years, or even close to 100 years, we can see. Because the last depression which happened in 1929, 30, they know that because of the money is not available, and the company and everybody has lost their money, they only just had hope. So from 1929, the stock market alone just didn't grow much. So from 30 till 53, 54, it was very much a flat return. People are not getting much returns. So then only the bull market started. I'm saying in US. So then only the bull market started running. So it took a long time, and the US took a very long time to come out of recession. They didn't had any regulation how the stock market worked, how the people leveraged, and most of them died, or the worst ever depression, because that is the time we have record. So when you compare after that, there were so many small recessions compared to depression, and there are unemployment and uh, Iran Iraq war, and the times Vietnam war. All these are times where the market had gone down, and because of that people got opportunity to invest. But when it comes to India, we had so many scams, and we had so many losses once in a 4 to 5 years or term. And 2008 crisis or crash was due to the US mortgage crisis, which affected directly on India. So all these are whatever has happened till now, and India never witnessed a depression kind of thing from the time we got independence. So before that, it's totally a different story. From the time we got independence, slowly we were trying to revive our growth, and because of our population, because of our vast agriculture and everything put together, we were in a growth mode, slowly, slowly, steadily, steadily. And now, when we are trying to get into the double digit, and when you are trying to grow bigger, the biggest problem had hit because of corona. And now it's a time for you, because for the next 3 months you don't know what you're going to do, and the government is looking to create extend the lockdown. That's what the news are coming on, but we never know what is going to happen. But what is clear is that for the next 3 months you need to plan your emergency fund. This is the most important thing. Generally, when you are asked any financial advisor, even I would have recommended more than a 6 months or 1 year before, I would have recommended to have an emergency fund for around 6 months. That is more than enough. That is a thumb rule kind of thing. All the financial advisors would have said 3 months before. Even if you had approached someone by Jan, he would have said to have at least 6 to 8 months, because in the last 1 year, if you're saying, it's not the corona crisis. Before that itself, our crisis had started. From the last April, May, the consumer vehicle sales are down. Most of the automobile companies witnessed the biggest crash, and everybody were talking like we are getting into recession. Not recession, we are getting into the slowdown. Slowdown was the topic, and economic slowdown was most searched in India during the time last May, June, and Diwali sales were down, consumer sales were down, and most of the stocks were witnessing a slowdown. And all the automobile sales, or all the automobile stocks, if you had seen, it had witnessed a huge downfall. And now, with the addition of corona crisis, it's getting wider. The problem is not started here. It started with the liquidity crisis, passenger crisis. The passenger vehicles sales gone down. Maruti and all the vehicles sales gone down. Now, because of corona, the Maruti sales are down by another 50%. So the brand like Maruti, which sells more than 54% of Indian sales, is down by 50%. Just think of the crisis which has occurred in India now, and all across the globe it is the same. So for the next 3 months, so now why? How should you plan your emergency fund? See if you are having at least 10 months to 12 months of your monthly expenditure. If your monthly expenditure is 50,000, you should have at least 4 to 5 lakhs, at least 3 to 4 lakhs, because we never. The problem is that the payment, the liquidity, everything is a bigger problem. If you're a businessman, you should have at least 4 to 5 lakhs for sure, 5 lakhs for sure, to sail through this. And you have a problem of paying to your employees. On top of it, you should get new orders, and so much is there. So at least for your family, you should have an emergency fund. What I'm talking is with respect to personal finance. Your family, you should have that. And during this time, if you have extra money apart from this emergency fund, you should invest in a company which is having a similar financial goal. What is their financial goal? For example, ITC, in the last 100 years, it has been a more than a cigarette company. Golf Lake, Kings, and all those stuff all across India. More than 70% of cigarette sales is goes to ITC. And in the last 10 years, if you see, government has increased the tax on cigarettes over even I remember, because I used to go with my immediate boss in the office, and I used to check the rates. Now the rates have gone like anything. From the time I had seen 2008-9, now it has gone up like anything. But still, people buy. The number of cigarettes had gone down, but the sales have picked up. So the profit margin had gone down. ITC has never grown. The PE value of ITC, the profit earning ratio, has gone down in the last 10 years. When you compare it with 2003 to 7, ITC is one stock where the sales are down, PE is down, not sales, PE value is down. And now they had set a vision a year or two before, when the previous managing director was getting retired. Here the new one came in. What he said is, by 2030 we want to be a 1 lakh crore company, and we want to be a diversified FMCG, not only the cigarette company, the FMCG. Uh, Hope you know that ITC is not only a cigarette company. They are ITC hotels. They are restructuring that. They are into notebooks and stationaries. They are into paper manufacturing. That is how the stationery came in. And also the fast moving consumer goods, the noodles and ITC noodles are there, biscuits, premium biscuits, and everything. Also, they had John Players. They had sold it off to Reliance as a brand, and they are diversified. So that is how the companies, they had set a vision that and how they are progressing in the coming days. And if you see the next news came in, they had bought some uh, masala company in the northeastern part of India, I think out of West Bengal. So that is going to add up, and they had bought in the right time because they have huge cash. They want to leverage that during this time so that they diversify. So this is one aspect of identifying a company with vision and are they progressing in that direction. And when you see Acre Motors, they were nowhere in 2005-6. When the Siddharth Lal, the new CEO, came in during that time, he just simplified the bike. My boss had that bike which was bought in 2003-4. So yeah, 2002-3, and he was using it. You need to kick it hard with your leg, and your leg will pain like anything during that time. And that too, it will take lots of time. You need energy to kick it. What he did is simplified everything. So he bought in uh, the button switch on system, as well as easy to kick, and the noise. He had reduced the noise level. He changed the way the Royal Enfield was there, and he made it simple that it become a craze. When I bought it in 2012-13, out of four vehicles, I used to be the one where within a span of 1 or 2 years, by 14-15, when I drive along with me, there are two more guys who are driving Royal Enfield. So that is the kind of growth it has seen, and it has spread all across India. You can see it in movies and all across, and they are exported to Malaysia, Indonesia, and they are moved on to UK. And he's sitting out of UK, trying to plan for what is going to trying a plan for Europe, launching products, because traditionally there has been a bikes out of US which has occupied all across the world, Triumph and all those, Harley Davidson, the biggest one. The competitively, the Iker Motors has been priced good, and they are launching products in the range of their 250 350 cc, and now they are trying to launch in 350 to 700 cc. And he's having a vision. So let's see how it is going to progress in the coming days. So this is one company which had a vision, which had expanded, and you can eventually see it in the quantitative field also. Financially, if you see the kind of PE growth, the kind of sales, and the vision. And how to analyze the vision of the company, it's very simple. So if you want to check a quality company, check out the last 20 years, how much it had grown. For example, HDFC Bank, Asian Paints, Havells as a electric brand, all these things, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, and all these things. Just check the last 5 years record annual reports. Go to their website, download, and see how much they had stick on to the plan. And now there is an example, Tata's. So earlier Ratan Tata was there, and then Cyrus Misty was there for a very brief period, I think for 4 5 years, 3 to 4 years or something. And out of so much issue, he was moved out, and N. Chandrasekharan, the TCS boss, TCS boss was there. So I was working in TCS, and during the time, TCS had witnessed a huge growth under his leadership. So, and he was promoted to oversee the entire Tata group. It was a very privileged position, right? So he moved, and what he did is simply he recategorized everything, brought in so many changes, organizational changes, and you can see that the way the stocks had reacted, and the way, because the sales had grown, and Tata Consumer Brand, he brought in a new CEO, and and he had merged Tata Salt into Tata Consumer Products. Eventually, a tea and manufacturing, tea and coffee brand. Now it is going to be a fast-moving consumer with the real FMCG brand. Not only sticking with the tea coffee, they have Tata Glucose for serving in a glucose brand, and they also getting into the noodles. I recently saw last month. So they are eventually getting into all these things slowly, diversifying, and they already have a biggest distribution network. Tata Salt, they are already called Salt to software conglomerate, right? So they have a vision, and this is one company which is eventually going to see a biggest growth. Probably you need to check in the last 3 4 years annual report, see if they are rightly growing. And one company I said even in one of the videos is that Britannia. In the last 5 6 years, when you analyze, they had mentioned when and which quarter they are going to launch a product, and they're stuck on with that product launch. So if you're finding a company which is sticking on to that product, and when you compare it with the PE, price to book, and the value of the company, the rise in book value, and the PE and profit margin, that is how you can find a good quality company. And this is the time you have lots of time to analyze the stock, analyze the company, start looking into it. And I will say you two, three websites. One is moneycontrol.com, which you can analyze all these data easily, and trendline.com, which is one another trendline, trendlyne.com. This is one website where you can see the reports prepared by other analysts. And my request is forget about it. Just go and check the annual report and all the other ratios, liquidity ratio, all the PE, PB, and ROE, rate of rate of return, ROE, and all those ROE, return on asset, return on equity. So all these things are available directly for the last 5 years. Data will be there, and how they had grown. EPS, mainly look into PE and price to book value, and all these ratios, because the market has gone down heavily, and there are certain companies which is still available at higher valuation. So by this way, you will be understanding whether should you buy that company or should you wait for some more time to buy that company, because market is not with only few companies which is being said by analysts. There are n number of companies, but the thing is, you stick to 30 to 60 companies, 30 to 50, Nifty 50 or the Sensex 30, Nifty 50, because you have 50 companies. Out of that company, see which company is doing good, analyze these reports, or whichever company you are utilizing in your daily life. Take those companies, analyze the reports, check the vision for the last 5 years, if they're sticking on with it, and if the growth is shown in the report. And that is how Aker Motors you can see. Best check the Aker Motors, Britannia. You will understand how the companies are working. So today, what you're seeing is how to have why you should have a financial goal, and why you should choose a company which is having a biggest financial goal. So because both these together, you are finding a multi-bagger. And if you are sticking, your financial goals mostly will be for long term, more than 5 to 10 years, either buying a home, have more than 10 years ahead. Um, After 10 years, you can buy a home. Then you can have a whatever home debt free, and that to a bigger home. Don't go for a 2 BHK or 3 BHK with huge loans. After 10 years, buy a home which is debt free, which is big, and which all of you can stay together. And and even uh, and even your kids education, which is long term, more than 15 years, even your retirement, if it is more than 20, 30 years. If you're finding a company which is good for the next 20, 30 years, that is how the growth will happen. Bajaj Finance, the growth story started in 2007. Now there is a blip we can say, because the ratings had gone down because of the corona crisis, and how the people will pay. You need to understand, analyze an annual reports, and how they are given out the loans, because whatever analyst saying is based on the common perception, what the analyst is understanding, and how you understand, how you see it, how you interpret it, is based on your understanding, your perception, and you need to analyze. Don't depend on anyone else, because I saw a book which I'll say tomorrow, because it's one another video with so much examples. Then it's easy for you to understand. So thanks for watching. If you had understood, if you had liked this video with your financial goal and company's financial goal putting together, you are going to find a multi-bagger. So if you had liked this video, please click the like button and share it in your Facebook or with your friends who might like it. And thanks for watching. If you have any doubts with respect to finding a company with financial goal or setting out your financial goal, please message to me or ask me. I'll be happy to help you people, because this is the time you should do it, because everything has gone down. You will be in a very don't get into the negative mode. Be positive, find, analyze, and let's rework your existing resources. Don't go on a debt mode, getting into loans or top up or whatever. Try to reorganize your assets. Let's see what best can be done for you. So the first step is having a financial goal for that. Thanks for watching. Please like it, and share this with your friends. Thank you.